Excited about the win. Obviously, it could have been cleaner. First and foremost, from a penalty perspective, part of being a tough team to beat first is not kicking your own butt, man, and we kind of been doing that some, and we got to own that. And so we will. We'll review it. We'll learn from it. We'll look at it. We'll bring some officials into our practice setting in an effort to be cleaner because that was catastrophic, really, in a lot of instances to our efforts tonight.
I have a question for Roger Goodell. How bad is it that week after week, game after game, people are talking, coaches, players, fans, about how bad the officiating is in the NFL? Think about this for a moment. A future Hall of Fame coach like Mike Tomlin is so confused by what's going on with refs these days, he's going to have to bring in officials to practice to try and get a handle, a grasp on what the heck is going on with NFL officiating. That's bad. The NFL is ruining the game of football. If a Hall of Fame coach like Mike Tomlin can't figure it out, how do you expect fans to understand? In this game between the Titans and Steelers, 17 penalties were called. 17. That's absurd. People are not paying good money, whether at the game or on their cable systems at home, to watch the refs. And this idiotic, completely moronic body weight roughing the passer call has to be changed right away. This penalty wasn't called on the Steelers, it was actually on the Titans, but it shows how crazy the body weight roughing the passer penalty really is. So as a defensive tackle is coming through to make a tackle, what is he supposed to do about his body weight? How is that even remotely a penalty? I'm tackling you. This is tackle football. What do you want him to do? At that point, you explain to us what you expect the player to do. It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. It must be changed immediately. Neither the Steelers or any other team should be subjected to that kind of idiotic penalty. But as we're talking about the Steelers, Mike Tomlin is making bad look good.
They have Tomlined their way to 5-3 despite being outgained by 790 yards in their 8 games this season. They are the 34th team in NFL history to be outgained in each of their first 8 games. They're the only one with a winning record through those games. Only one of the previous 33 teams finished the season with a winning record. That was the Steelers last year. So,
you know the mark of a good coach. A good coach is supposed to win the games you're supposed to win. Mike Tomlin has taken that to another level. Mike Tomlin is winning the games he's supposed to lose.
Hey, how in the world do we explain this?
It's a magic trick. I mean, like, there's no other way to explain it. The football is a ground acquisition game. The point is to gain yards, move the ball forward. In literally every game, they are worse at that than their opponent, and yet they've somehow 5-3. It makes no sense. Mike Tomlin is a Hall of Fame coach. If ever the Steelers got tired of him, teams would fire their coaches to line up to try and hire him. There's nobody better, honestly, like, to get serious, like, there's nobody better at, like, consistently week in, week out, making sure their team is ready to play the game.
Yep.
They're literally good at nothing other than winning the game.
That's funny. They're literally good at nothing but winning. When you understand that the sole objective of playing a football game is to win the football game, then you have no choice but to applaud what Mike Tomlin is doing.
Talk about getting outgained.
Yeah.
You're not even counting the penalty yards. They had 10 penalties last night. They don't play the game well.
The numbers,
they find a way to win.
Since the start of last season, this was their 7th win when scoring 20 or fewer points. It's their 7th win when trailing through 3 quarters, and it's their 7th win when being outgained in yards. Is it Tomlin? Is it magic? How do you explain that this team flat out stinks, and yet they're 5-3?
I mean, that's what Bill Cowher used to do too before he got Ben Roethlisberger. They just muck the game up. They hang around, and they wait for you to beat yourselves, and they try and take the possessions out of the game. game by running the football, and it's tick, 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 and it comes down. That was the first turnover of the game, and it won the game. Played in that environment. When they play Renegade, I've seen guys piss down their pants. Right? I was like, just punt the ball. Let the defense out here because they start hunting.
What the guys on Get Up are actually saying is that culture and attitude can win football games. Think about it. With all the new eccentric offenses being run in the NFL, the RPO, the play action, the jet motion, and with all of that happening, the Steelers are doing what they've always done. The Steelers basically line up and try to punch you in the face. Not much has changed with the Pittsburgh Steelers since the days of Mean Joe Green and Jack Lambert. They just want to kick your ass. Bart Scott mentioned Renegade. If you're not familiar with what happens in that stadium when they play the song Renegade, maybe Google it and look at, Renegade Pittsburgh Steelers and pull up a few videos about it. It goes insane. The entire stadium comes alive. Not just the fans, the players respond as well. It's sick. And I'm serious, it's really eerie.
About a coach like Mike Tomlin, he always says the standard is the standard. So he holds everybody accountable. Even you heard his hidden messages about communication coming out of halftime, and they figured it out, and they find ways to win.
Mike Tomlin has been the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers since 2007. And in those 16 years, going on his 17th year, he's never had a losing season. He is indeed the standard, and he's found a way to pull these games out and win.
The fact that this Pittsburgh team, if we dissect that 5-3 record, they've won some games where you're like, I'm not quite sure how they won them. This felt like a Steelers victory, right? The defense makes the plays in the end when they had to give big-time plays. Johnson contributed in a big way. Warren's pitching in. But does this to you feel like, in general, a 5-3 football team?
No, absolutely not. I mean, if you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers all year, their offense has been quite honestly atrocious. It's not bad.
Not great.
Not great at all. Now the defense and TJ Watt has been outstanding, making a couple plays.
Smith's made a bunch as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys have made plays to help the Steelers teams win. But more importantly, they're just Mike Tomlin their way through the season. That's what they're doing right now. It's like you watch them and it's just like, how is this team 5-3?
I don't know.
But it's a Mike Tomlin coach team. And we all know somehow, some way, a Mike Tomlin coach team finds a way to win football games.
Want to hear the greatest stat of all time? The Raiders have had more head coaches since 2021 than the Steelers have had since 1969. That is the difference. 3 coaches since 1969. That's how you wind up Tomlining your way to a winning record.
That's an amazing stat, and it's a testament to the stability and commitment of the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. The Steelers are 5-3 this year, and they really shouldn't be, but they keep finding ways to win. And I'm sure every guy on the team is just fine with that. Let me know what you think about Mike Tomlin pulling out another win, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. Talk to you soon.